Hello and good morning. Welcome all.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Uh, Michelle is still in hair and makeup, so her camera is off. How are you, Jeff?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm
Hi,
doing
Jeff.
good.
When did you sneak in?
Literally like 2 seconds ago.
Hello, hello. Blessings.
I'm back. Hello. Good morning.
Well, you
And
look
rising.
Oh, thanks.
beautiful as ever.
Nothing a little comb doesn't help with. I was like, oh shit, I never brushed my hair.
Madame Maru has joined us, and Miss
Maruta.
thank you, ladies.
Hello. And Miss Moonlight. Hello.
Good morning.
Grand rising.
I'm
So
Madame
just
Maru.
just some first thoughts, Michelle. What do you think of when you have seen the tower in the past? What do you want a tower in your readings?
I don't mind tower. So I've been consumed, so I haven't even read up again on it. But the tower it became when she was going through decks with me. It became one where I picked, okay, read the tower, because one of her decks, the way the tower was described, it really resonated. And so when a tower card isn't, the deck person doesn't describe it that way, I'm like, I don't like that deck. So it really is, to me, about, it's not a scary thing at all. It's an amazing thing. It's about, just like I said, not like I said, I was going to go into the death thing, but it's just building anew. Like me, I'm going through many tower moments through my spirituality journey. Finally, I mean, we all have at some point, but I look at it, I guess for some people it could be a scary thing because losing a job or just something where things crumble, but it's not even about that. I think that's more of a death incident. I think the tower is when you build your foundation and your beliefs and these forced thoughts that we've all been grown up with, man-made forced thoughts. If you want to talk about withholding knowledge, it's our government, people who want to only teach us, they want to control us, so they control us with whatever knowledge that they want to provide us and the perspective to provide us. So you've built your foundation unstably on bullshit. So a tower moment is when you feel that you wake up and you realize, you see the truth, you see beyond the fucking bullshit. You're wearing now high boots because you're walking in a puddle of fucking bullshit. That's a tower moment, and I welcome those moments because I'm tired of being on eggshells or not knowing, being unstable because I'm living a lie in a way. So part of it's kind of like that. I look at a tower moment as this whole time, well, oh my God, mind blowing. Fuck, I never even looked at it from that way. And now I have a chance to build a solid foundation on beliefs that I believe in. And so I look at it in that aspect, from that aspect. And I know there's more to it, but I absolutely love tower. And actually, I didn't pull my card out, but I will. But there's a tower moment in my deck. I say my mom got me, even though she's passed. She told me to get, is about Rapunzel. So if you think about Rapunzel, that was a huge tower for her because she was hidden and she was living a lie. And when she realized there's more to life than what she was told, that's a huge tower moment, right?
Yeah, revealing or shocking news can cause tower moments.
And it's like her whole world is now different, and it's okay. Don't be afraid of a new world. Because now you have a chance to build a stronger, solid foundation where it's not going to happen. I mean, not to say it won't happen, because that's the journey in life, right? But you're going to learn every time you build, and it's maybe not going to crumble completely because now you've learned from your mistakes. if that makes sense.
It does. And Jeff, what are your thoughts on the tower card? Do you like tower moments, or
I
are
dread
they
tower
something
moments.
to endure? Or
I dread tower moments. I don't know how to define them in my own life because I feel like there have been so many of them, but yet there probably been fewer than what they have been because I overly dramatize them.
Do they make you better
Um,
for it?
um, I think in some ways you come out better for it if you handle it correctly, if you learn from it what you're supposed to learn from it.
Hmm.
If you don't learn from it and then you're bound to repeat it, you might repeat it more fatally the second time. So that's why when it's reversed and you're surrendering to it, I much prefer it that way, only because you see the error of your ways. And what I find interesting about the tower card is if it's flipped, it might have already happened to you, like if it were reversed, but maybe you hadn't learned from it, but there's still a good connotation to it because at that point, you might be ready to embrace what it's supposed to tell you. Um, so to me, it's an important card. Um, but like, I think um, for me, it's almost general in the sense that a lot of things that happen in life that are external, that you have of which you have no control, play a role in defining towers, even if they don't happen to you. So I feel like a lot of them could be so general. It just depends on the circumstance and how it affects you and if you're supposed to learn from it.
Hmm.
So, I mean, to me, there are so many aspects to it. Um, and it depends on, especially if you're reading you're gonna, I think, have a lot more personal bias about what it is that you're defining as a tower. So it's not a tricky card, but it's an interesting one because it's open to a lot of interpretation. Like in this one from this Russian deck, it's disappointment. But I mean, it doesn't have to be disappointment. In this Russian deck, the plumber, the guy comes home and finds his wife cheating with their lawyer. So that's the tower in this one. In the Visions of Life Tarot from Taroko Studio. So that's what I think. I love the
so,
card.
are tower moments, are they meant to shake us up and to straighten out our path or our thinking?
Ideally, they should be, but I don't think they always do, and that's why we repeat them.
Can I read my sassy burrito? A
Yeah.
quote on here says, "For a seed to achieve its greatest expression, it must come completely undone. The shell cracks, its insides come out, and everything changes. To someone who doesn't understand growth, it would look like complete destruction."
Yeah, that's what I was saying about over dramatizing it. Like, I feel like I've done that in multiple scenarios where people would accuse me of being a drama queen. And yet at the same time too, there are things that I needed to learn from them that I didn't learn the first time. So it's harder on the person who's subjectively trying to impose a
Yeah.
meaning on it. I mean, it's harder on the person you're talking about. I mean, like when you get a reading and they tell you you're having a tower coming up, it's like I told Hershey, I had a reading at the metaphysical store in Braintree, and they're like, "You're going to have a tower." And the woman had dumped about 20 cards out. And Hershey's like, "No, you've already had the tower." So, I mean, it can't be just one thing. It probably could be umpteen different things, but maybe there's one really important one that you have to learn from. That's the tricky part about the card to me. You know what I mean?
Well, we're all human and we react and respond differently to things. I think if you're in the reaction moment, that's when the drama queen
Mm-hmm.
comes out, and if you're in the respond to, that's when the learning and the setting things for future paths goes better for us.
Definitely. Definitely. But only recently, if you've gone into a situation where you are proactive versus reactive, You have to find that balance, because that's why when it's reversed and people are already jumping out, maybe you're jumping out prematurely, or maybe, I think of 9/11 and the towers, and I see that image of people dropping to their deaths voluntarily because they know what's coming. So it's almost like, to me, you're doing something out of fear in some cases if it's reversed, or if it's got a good connotation to it, you've already learned from it and you've already gone through it. So that's why I got to think it's something really, really dramatic that happens like once, like Hershey said.
Well, it is dramatic. Like, it can be like, I know we need to get to, I know Hershey has, I can tell she's like her opinion, but really quick, does mean sudden. This is from the Robin Wood. The sudden catastrophic transformation, broken friendships, lost security, disgrace, the overthrow of ambition or status. But this loss, though sudden and painful, is a good thing, because what is being lost was built on false premises and doomed from the start. Now it will be over. Soon it will be over, and something new can be built. So that's how I absolutely see tower moments. It's if I have something built on false premises, tear that shit down and let it soon be over with in my life. Like, I have no time for that. Let the universe clear it out for me, make room for the new and for what is going to be right. Embrace it. It's like, speed it up, man. But I better watch what I say, watch what I ask for, because next thing you know, I'm going to have like 5 towers at once.
I
I'm
know,
going to
that's
go
what I'm
around and I'm
afraid
going to be like,
of, too.
holy crap. So,
Hershey,
slowly.
Yeah.
thank you for being here as always and being my rock. And you've been showing your towers. Thank you for pulling those out.
Ooh, I hope everybody's got a cup in front of them and they're sipping on something, because literally the tower is the man. Y'all, in a deck of cards, if we gonna describe the deck of cards as your personal life, the tower has to be the man in your life, not the husband, not none of that. I'm talking about the man that just can shake your shit up. It could be a woman, it could be a child, it could be whatever. It's literally a figure of speech. Originally, I found that the tower literally was originally stated as, oh, wrong one. Nope, this one.
Bill Butler.
Originally, it was uncertain from where it started, according to the dictionary.
Mm.
Usually, it was referenced in the earliest parts as the house of God.
Huh, that's interesting.
This card literally exists, the house of God. It was found to be medieval, and at that point, it was switched to lightning.
So is that a tarot deck? That's
Yeah.
a tarot deck. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, I'm stupid. I had to ask though, because I find that really
connection with all of it, it was found that it best described in later years after the 1700s, that it was best described as the Tower of Babel, which is referred to as the reference between hospital and church. So therefore, at this point, when this card was created, it didn't have anything to do, I think, with a spiritual awakening. I think it had everything to do with a real life freaking aha. It's not what the hell I thought, or people realizing that it wasn't what they were being told. I think it had a very different meaning back then than it has now. I think that because of Mirth and Swiss and Wade and Shadu and all of these others that put this together after 1790 and decided to call it just the Tower, knew that there was something more they were trying to hide when it originally started as the House of God, and then it was called Lightning, later to be in the 1700s, and therefore from here on out called the Tower. So
interesting.
I have so many depictions of it, but I'm telling you, it's literally about you finding out shit that you literally needed in your life, and it had to happen because you kept overlooking it. You kept refusing to see it for the genuine, honest to God truth of what it was. And when it hit you, it hurt like hell, and you mad about it. You're mad about it. That's how I feel about it. I think that's what the tower is about. It has to be sudden. It has to be kind of like a eye opener, putting a little fire to your ass or whatever. But knowing that it started out here just to be turned into here for the masses to feel better about it makes me feel some type of way, because this is more powerful to me than this. And this is one of the most powerful cards in the deck because of the spiritual growth that's coming behind it.
Looking around the entire thing, and look what I found over here somewhere.
So, in Bill Butler's book, didn't he also say it's referred to as the insane asylum?
The tower, the insane asylum tower specifically.
To lock the crazy people away from general pop.
Yep.
Is that why they're all jumping?
So the ones that were spiritually awakened are those that dealt with any kind of something that wasn't allowed by them. They got locked away in a damn tower, and they, like this book has made me see things so much differently.
Well, this book has an exercise too. My
Tower of Babel. Yes, that's
the
in here
directory. It says example interpretations in the you now position. This card means you are either in the middle of some crisis or about to have a shakeup in your life. Either way, it's a life-changing experience for the better. In the future or outcome position, unexpected events will make you question your outlook on life, and you will come to see a specific issue that you had previously been naive about in a new and creative light. As a blockage card, it means you are fearful of change. If you draw this card regularly, you need to recognize that sometimes things have to fall apart before they can fall together. Then there is a exercise about ranting, and many of us don't like change, especially when it's apparently forced on us from outside circumstances, especially when you like to control things in life, This exercise will help you adjust to sudden change as if you were one moment in a raging temper and the next cool and calm and carefree. So basically, you go to a solitary place to make noise. You experience is unexpected change. So you just need to be in a room or somewhere in the countryside where no one can hear you. Then you're supposed to say everything out loud, scream, everything you feel like make yourself feel like a complete fool. Say exactly what you hate or loathe about anything. Friends, family, partners, colleagues. Get totally angry.
You just described the primal release.
Primal release. Wind yourself up, shout it out loud, whatever, and then suddenly stop. And then you listen to the silence as if suddenly and as unexpected as the tower's influence. The sudden change from wild to civilized. The noise to stillness. These are all similar to the lightning strike of the card. In the stillness, there is peace and a realization that unexpected change can be beneficial. So we're going to work on
no tragic component.
We're going to do some exercises for you, Jeff, so you can try
Is there
to.
a tragic? Does it become more tragic if you go through it and you're ignoring it? Like you're ignoring the elephant in the room? Does it become more of a tower?
I think it delays the experience. It prolongs the experience.
So
I think if you don't learn the lesson, tower moments become persistent until
you keep trying to rebuild on that same unstable foundation, right?
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. So I think that's why it was framed as the insane asylum, or the tower of the insane asylum.
Jeff,
if you change nothing changes.
By Patrick Balenza.
What?
This is Triunfe della Luna by Patrick Balenza.
Okay, because I'm writing that down.
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
It also has 8 devils in it to represent 8 different
parts of hell.
Specific devils.
Okay.
This deck is incredible.
Madame Maru's House of Cards. She says it's funny she changed her name today. And the House of Cards is a tower moment by definition.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Hi, Nicole. Like, it's so early for her. 5 a.m.
She's
Hi,
like
Scorpion Mama.
17 hours ahead of us or some shit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start our definitions, and you can write down your own definitions in your journal. These are just to add. These are more the dire definitions, and I don't think all towers have to be dire. I think they can be on a scale of 1 to 10 tower. It's like one stubbing your toe in the middle of the night, and you know, 3 like maybe falling out of a tree and breaking an arm, or why I was in a tree anyway. Makes no sense at this age. So we have misery, distress, indigence, adversity, calamity, disgrace, deception, or ruin.
What's indigence?
Indigence is poverty,
Yeah.
destitute, broke, impoverished.
But also a massive change, upheaval, okay, rebuilding. Oh, that's reverse. Sorry. My bad.
Once your tower collapses, you got to rebuild.
Feeling trapped, delaying, disaster, fear of pain, or avoidance.
Oh, I was the master of avoidance, and I would disappear just so I could avoid. And then when we have our reverse tower, transformation, upheaval, entrapment, imprisonment, and fear of letting go.
What was your continue? Sorry.
But sometimes we're so enmeshed in our belief systems that we don't want to even change our basic beliefs, because we've clung on to false beliefs for so long that tower moments can remind us that you have false beliefs.
Because they are hard. They're not supposed to be easy. I mean, it is a lot of work to put in to realize your whole belief system, for example, was a lie or was not. You were misled or misguided. It's a struggle for a lot of people to come to terms with. So it is definitely a challenge, and it is definitely hard. But as long as you see it as a positive thing, it's for your betterment,
And again, these are all just the 78 cards are all situation or people that pop up in everyone's life from time to time. And the tower just reminds us that we've got to handle things as they come up, or they become more dire.
Mm-hmm.
And Hershey, you still researching, or are you ready to say something?
I mean, I don't really have a lot of words for it other than, I mean, we all have to have our own opinion about everything, obviously, but I just feel like there's just so much more to it, I mean, it's everything that was taken from us that we are now realizing we're craving more than anything, and it's just the remembering of what used to be, and just knowing that, like, it used to have such a more, for me, meaning as either calling it the lightning or something more destructive than just the tower. I get that we've made it as bumper proof as we could, but I guess I'm just not that sensitive to my feelings getting hurt, especially when I'm turning to divination and I'm expecting change to come. So therefore, I've got to get a little bit uncomfortable. I've got to get a little transparent. I've got to get a little bit little so that something bigger that has more knowledge than me can come in and uproot my life, help me rebuild it, put it back together, and put me on the path I'm supposed to be on. So when I think about the tower, it's not a bad card to me. I don't see it as negativity, just like I don't see the devil as a negative card or death as a negative card, even in certain ways to read it. I get it, I understand it, but it's just not a bad card to me. It's about life, and life is just, and it is a balance that has to be there. And when lots more people start accepting that, it's going to get so much easier on people, and it's not going to be such a struggle. I mean, I'd rather look at the mythology of it or the deities that it represents, the gemstones that it literally represents. There's so many different things when it comes to the hardening of something, and it could just be our own skin, making our own skin thicker. We don't have to make it more than what it actually is. But I don't know. I just don't see it as a bad thing, though. So.
And Michelle, I put you on mute because I was getting some feedback through your microphone, and I'll unmute you now.
I figured because my mic is so fucking strong. I was putting my stones on my cards, and you probably picked it up.
You can turn on and off echo cancellation in the prior screen to getting here.
Let's see, audio. Yeah, it is on, and automatically adjust mic.
So maybe you need to turn your mic down a little bit so it's not so sensitive.
You're so sensitive.
I know, I'm having a tower moment, and I'm
Then I
reacting.
can't hear
instead of
you guys.
responding.
Then you need to talk louder because then that just turns down my volume. I'll just whisper.
Okay. Perfect.
It says that a fragrance for tower is smoke, right? Of course, there's bad smoke, but there's also smokes that we use for incense and cleansing our airs that do really crazy things to things we can't see, but it smells very pleasant to us, So how do we know that, everything that we do is meant for us when, well, I don't mean it like, how do we know it's meant for us? If it's a tower moment, we know that it's personal, right? But when it comes to like determining, we know the good smell of smoke and we know the bad smell of smoke, right? Like stones. I didn't realize there was actual stones for this until just now. The malachite, a black opal, those two are represented for the tower moment. Like they will help you through it. They will maybe even if you're teetering on it, from what I'm reading, if you grab one, they will help you go ahead and get it, like kick it off and get it over with so you can move through it. As my grandfather would say, if you're going through hell, keep going. Put it behind you. So I think that's just those moments, you're just going to have to go through it. It's just like a speed bump. It goes across the whole road. So even if you go over this way, you're not going to avoid the whole damn thing. So why make it more difficult, more gas, more maneuvering when all you got to do is just go right through it? So I don't know. I could be bad examples. I don't know, but I know there's bad ones. I just don't see it as bad. Not in the upright position anyway.
Well, there's the tarot, as I see it, is a balancing, neutralizing
right
thing. So for every what you perceive is bad, there's a good to offset it somewhere.
Oh yeah,
it may
absolutely.
not be in the same card. It may be somewhere else in the tarot. But good, bad, positive, negative, it's all subjective to each of us. What may be good to you might be bad to me. Maybe you like excitement. I don't like excitement. I'd rather live my existence as a bump on a pickle. I don't want drama and excitement and those things in my life. So it's personally subjective to everyone.
Right.
going
Absolutely.
through it.
Right. So can you guess who the 3 gods or goddesses are for the tower moment?
I would say um, Zeus,
Yes, that's one.
Mars,
I'm sorry, who?
a Mars representation.
That's the planet representation, but not the actual god.
Um, I would say Zeus, Thor,
Yep, Zeus and Thor. Or one more.
and I can't come up
Starts
with
with
the
an
third
S.
one.
They're called the Destroyer.
S Destroyer, Saturn.
No, Shiva. 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 The
Oh,
Destroyer.
Shiva. Okay, Shiva.
Shiva. Yes. Those are the 3 immortal deities that represent the tower moment. Didn't know
So
that.
some of our symbolism on the card. The lightning bolt is a symbol representing sudden, unexpected event or realization. It can be seen as a force of divine intervention, breaking down our old structures. And yeah, it can definitely hit a bolt out of the blue, just not expecting it at all. The falling crown coming out of the tower symbolizes the toppling of false authority or ego. So when that crown falls, that's your thinking mind. It suggests the structures in your life that may have seemed secure are being challenged or dismantled. And, nobody likes their thoughts challenged or taken apart, and examined under a fine tooth comb. Windows. When the people are jumping out the windows, it can be interpreted as individuals seeking escape from the crumbling tower. This can represent a need to let go of old ways or of thinking or patterns.
I see that as voluntary surrender, which is why I
Right.
see the description of the reversal different from
Right.
what those 5 words were. This seems more apt to what.
Yeah, no getting in the minds of the people who jumped from the towers
Right.
on 9/11, but they knew it would hurt for maybe a second, but then it would all be over,
Mhm.
rather than to like burning to death. And that's, those are big fears of a lot of people. And if you faced with that death situation, do you want to burn to death and be agonizing for a while and until you go, or do you want to go to the top of the room and singe your lungs and take in all the carbon monoxide and fall asleep? It's in those last moments, it might have been a choice of the lesser of
seeking
what
escape, just as you said.
sucky, a sucky escape. It's a final escape, but it's a sucky escape, and few of us are challenged with that life and death situation. But towers can be that dramatic at times.
If you think about it, I never really I never gave it much thought, but the amount of strength it had to have taken for those people to make that decision is incredible. Because I don't even want to imagine. I'm very good at being the type of person I am. I mean, if I see a commercial with a little boy finally getting glasses, I'm crying because I feel his emotions. So I'm intentionally not trying to put myself in their position, and those feelings would be really raw to me. And I can't, I don't have the energy for that right now. I'm going through a lot as it is. So I can imagine though the strength is incredible and the fear. I can't. So the tower card is a card of strength too.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fire in the tower card represents transformative and purifying nature of destruction. It suggests that from the ashes of the old, something new and better can emerge. So it's like phoenixes arising from the ashes.
And it's kind of like what Hershey said about the sense of the smoke, too.
Mhm.
Like what she said about, yeah.
Yeah, the smell of tower, if you wanted to, trigger your emotions or whatever, as something to help move through it much quicker. Smoke, or smell smoke.
Or smell.
Well, that's why bees settle down. Why you smoke bees, because they think it tricks them into thinking there's a forest fire, so they have to get back to the hive and cluster around and protect the brood,
Mm-hmm.
so that the colony can survive a forest fire and emerge again. Should all the colony be taken out by a fire. The cracks in the foundation of the tower just signifies that underlying issues or weaknesses were present before, but they were hidden from you. The tower event brings these issues to the forefront, forcing a reevaluation of the existing structure. So even though you have the appearance of a strong tower, if your foundations are cracking, your tower is in danger of collapsing. The dark clouds surrounding the tower gives symbolism to the chaos, the uncertainty that often accompanies major life changes. However, it can represent the potential for growth and renewal. That come from facing challenges. In readings, the tower card often seen as a warning of significant and unavoidable changes. While initial impact may be unsettling or even destructive, the ultimate purpose is to clear away what is no longer serving you and to make way for a new beginning. It encourages embracing the changes, learning from experiences, and rebuilding on a new beginning. So our numerology is, we can see it as breaking a 1 and a 6 down into their parts. So when we break our 1 down, we should see our magician. The ones that are associated with independence, leadership, innovation, and new beginnings, start of a new cycle or fresh starts. The number 6, represented by our lovers, is the number often associated with harmony, balance, responsibility, and nurturing. Can represent home and family as well as sense of duty. Reducing 1 and 6 to our single digit, we get our 7. And so when we have our chariot moments, that means move. We can move on. We got to have movement. We got to make sure that we're all on the same page in your own mind, allowing our chariot driver to get his Sphinx steeds to go in the direction that is necessary to go to move forward.
Or your bus driver to put someone under the bus.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Some of us do that. We need a scapegoat. We got to run over the goat so we can have a fiesta.
Yeah.
Then when we get to our sevens, adding our 1 and our 6, we get our 7 cards. So we get planting seeds for harvest. We get a lot of choices that can cause confusion to rebuild. Sometimes we're afraid to start over in case somebody wants to steal things from us. Protect the treasury better next time. And some of us don't rebuild because we think of the struggle it's gonna cause. So anything else before we have arts and craft time and poetry, or just writing down random thoughts in our journal while Tom drones on with another story?
That element of fear that's tied to that card, I think you did a good job of explaining why it shouldn't be reversed or upright. So I'm good with the card now. Coming into it, I do have a bias about it. Like, what if the change isn't welcomed, and or what if the change weren't something you still, even after getting hit over the head, don't want to embrace, or it's external and you haven't learned. There are people for whom that does happen. So it's like, to me, the idea of voluntary surrender for whatever reason is a good way to read it reversed. That's what I think. I just want to put that out there.
In regards to what you're, sorry, go ahead.
In regards to, like, if you get hit over the head multiple times by something, there are people that don't see it that way. Like, they don't understand why they need to change or do something. And if it's read reversed and it's not a forced change, like if to them it's something that is being thrust on them that they don't want to embrace or see, I would view it as, if they interpret it as something else other than voluntary surrender, then you do have no meaning for the card. So to me, it reversed, it's got to be either voluntary surrender, or it's already happened, or you don't know what it means. That's what I feel it's about.
Well, I think it's more,
you know what I mean?
When you look at it as about being forced to change your thoughts, people don't want to. It's kind of like, it's not about, it's about what, it's just things that are no longer working for you in life, and you don't want to deal with the change. You want to be forced. You feel like you don't have control. Like you refuse to go through the motion and accept it voluntarily, like give into it, like you're saying. The status quo is going to continue, and you're going to keep trying to build something that's unstable, and it's going to you're just going to live. It's going to remain until you're ready.
That live that way.
Yeah, and it is too. They're ready to face the fact that what they're doing is not working, no matter what they believe. It's the fact, like, it's not working, and now it's like, it's like, unfortunately, a lot of people do. They're kind of trained, meaning when you're raised in, you inherit behaviors, and it's like, you don't want to deal with it. It's easy for you to run from it. Like Thomas is saying, he would go hide before, and not face it. And now you're defensive about it. And so it definitely does have to come to a surrender in knowing that you can't hang on to what I always go to Dave Matthews Band. If you hold on tight to your thing, you may find you're missing all the rest. And you have to definitely surrender and let go to the process if you want to improve and get better. It's all a choice, right? They say. So go ahead and continue to live in misery, or learn, continue to live in a crumbling house,
Or maybe you're
or figure it out.
complacent and you don't see it
Denial.
that way. So I
Yeah,
think
denial.
maybe you're complacent and don't see it that way. And I think it's a more important card than it's given credit for, because it could be a free will card too. I mean, it could be about your free will reversed to me, because it's voluntary and it's about a choice you make if you believe in free will. I think it can be a card about free will.
It's like, if you, without trying to get too political, but our history, how we're forced thoughts, we're taught each state, one publishing company will publish the same history book for 2 different states, but the state dictates how it's perceived and how it's the information is portrayed. So all of the controversy about, some people don't understand how horrible, like, the racism has been in our country, because it was never taught to them. That public schooling that they went to portrayed it in this certain light. And this school so then now we're all butting heads, because we're like, no, this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened. So until you want to stop and realize, oh shit, this is the whole thing that I was taught isn't true, like, or even, it's like the three truths are the stories, your story, my story, and the truth. It's kind of like, until there are many people to this day who bigotry are people who the information is right in front of them, but are in denial for it, because they are afraid. They're afraid. That's the only thing I can go to. Like, they're scared, and they don't realize that it's not scary. But I don't know. That might be a bad choice of words. There's more to it than that, but that's just a sum up of my point.
And also, if you don't have your filters on when information comes in, eventually that strainer gets full and no more information can come in. And the tower moment is the moment where the liquid overtops the strainer, because nothing's getting through anymore. You've got to face your own belief system at sometimes.
Or reckon with them and see what they mean. Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God, our whole country's built on a freaking tower that's going to collapse.
Shh, not public information. Okay, get out your markers and your paper, or if you're doodling in your tarot journal, go ahead and start that. You can do poetry. You can just write down any word associations that you hear in the story that you can add to definitions for your tower card. As I strolled through the narrow cobblestone streets of the old town, the air was thick with anticipation. It was one of those evenings where the setting sun bathed everything in a warm golden glow. The aroma of street vendors' delicacies mingled with distant sounds of laughter and music, creating a tapestry of sensations that seemed almost surreal. Little did I know that the enchanting atmosphere would soon give way to an encounter that would alter the course of my life. I had always been drawn to mysticism and the esoteric, finding solace in the ancient wisdom concealed within the folds of tarot cards. Today, however, felt different. An unusual sense of restlessness gnawed at the edges of my consciousness, compelling me to seek answers in the realm of the unknown. Turning a corner, I stumbled upon a small, dimly lit shop, tucked away between 2 more conspicuous storefronts. Its sign, weathered and faded, simply read, Madame Lysandra's Emporium of Wonders. The doorbell tinkled softly as I entered, and the air inside seemed to hum with mysterious energy. The room was adorned with velvet drapes, flickering candles, casting dancing shadows on the walls. Shelves were filled with curious artifacts, crystal balls, and stacks of tarot decks. At the back of the room, a woman with flowing dark hair sat behind a worn wooden table, her eyes piercing through the smoke of burning incense. "Welcome, seeker of truth," she greeted me. Her voice was a melodic whisper. I sensed a restlessness within you, a yearning for answers. I hesitated for a moment, glancing around the room, as if searching for an escape route. Nevertheless, an invisible force drew me closer to her table. I took a seat across from this mysterious woman, her eyes studying me with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. "Madame Lysandra," she introduced herself, her fingers gracefully shuffling the tarot deck. The cards hold reflections of the soul, revealing the unseen threads that weave tapestry of our destinies. "You are prepared to embark on this journey, are you?" With a nod, I surrendered to the unknown, my curiosity overcoming any lingering doubts. Madame Lysandra handed me the deck, instructed me to focus on my question as I shuffled the cards. As they slipped through my fingers, I wondered if I was ready to confront the truths that lay hidden beneath the surface. With a fluid motion, she spread the cards across the table, their vibrant images telling tales of ancient wisdom. The Tower card, adorned with a crumbling structure struck by lightning, caught my eye. Its ominous presence seemed to pulse with an energy that resonated deep within me. "The Tower," Madame Lysandra murmured, her gaze fixed on the card. "A harbinger of change, of upheaval that breaks down the walls we build around ourselves. It signifies a moment when the universe intervenes, dismantling the old to make way for the new." A chill ran down my spine as her words hung in the air. The images on the cards seemed to come alive, the lightning striking with an intensity that mirrored the tumultuous thoughts of my mind. "What does it mean for me?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Madame Lysandra's eyes bore into mine, as if peering into the depths of my soul. "The Tower speaks of a necessary disruption, a catalyst for growth and transformation. It warns against clinging to the illusions of security, urging you to embrace the inevitable changes that lie ahead." As she spoke, a kaleidoscope of emotions danced within me. Fear, uncertainty, but also a spark of curiosity and resilience. The Tower card, with its stark symbolism, seemed to echo in the inner turbulence I'd been suppressing. "Remember," Madame Lysandra continued, her voice gentle yet commanding, "within destruction lies the potential for rebirth. It is not a force to be feared, but a cosmic nudge guiding you towards your true path." Leaving the dimly lit emporium, I felt the weight of the revolution settling on my shoulders. The streets, once vibrant with hues of twilight, now felt like a labyrinth of shadows. The Tower card echoed in my mind, its message a riddle waiting to be deciphered. In the days that followed, the prophecy of the Tower unfolded with eerie precision. The foundations of my life began to crack, old paradigms crumbling around me, relationships shifting, perspectives evolved, and the familiar landscapes transformed into uncharted territories. The chaos was both external and internal, a tempest that demanded introspection and adaptation. In the midst of the storm, I found unexpected truth. The Tower's lightning had struck down my illusions, revealing truths that have long been obscured. As I navigated the debris of the past, I discovered hidden reservoirs of resilience and courage within myself. The dismantling of the old allowed space for the seeds of new beginnings to take root. It was during a solitary walk through a desolate park, branches of trees reaching towards the overcast skies, that I realized the profound wisdom embedded in the tower's message. Life, like the tower, was a continuous cycle of creation and destruction, a dance of chaos and order. Embracing this dance, I understood the key to unlocking the transformative power within. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the landscape of my existence underwent a metamorphosis. The tower's energy, once feared, became a guiding force. The ruins of the old became the foundation for the new, and I emerged from the ashes reborn. Madame Lysandra's Emporium of Wonders became a distant memory, a mysterious chapter in the story of my life. Yet the tower card remained etched in my consciousness, a symbol of resilience, growth, and the inevitability of change. The encounter with the tower has been a rite of passage, a journey through the depths of the self, and I carried its wisdom as I landed through the uncharted territories that lay ahead. In the quiet moments of reflections, I often found myself returning to the image of the tower, the lightning, the falling crown, the people leaping from its windows. It was no longer a harbinger of fear, but a testament of the beauty of impermanence. The tower, with its stark symbolism, had become a companion on the ever unfolding journey of self discovery, a reminder that within every upheaval, a hidden grace awaited revelation. And so ends the tale of Madame Lysandra and my journey to find the tower. So Hershey, okay, go ahead, John. Jeff.
I wrote a poem. Embrace what's lost. My stomach sank, fearing the worst, and yet the clouds burst. Yet more than a part of me would drop when I was forced to take a walk off a plank of mediocrity. Yes, it was a shock to fall from my guarded home to a place where the fear still wouldn't stop. Rolling around slowly, writhing in pain, there has to be a better way than to have run, jumped, and still feel this way. The heavens may have opened, the skies may have rung thunder and lightning, but to have changed my mind, I had to fall from the tower, yet it still feels as if it's over.
Wow. All that in such a short time?
That was
I am impressed.
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, now we're gonna
well.
now we're gonna have to challenge you to well, it'd be a challenge, but it'd be great. We're gonna have it'll be in one of your next books. It'll be
78 poems of enlightenment.
78 poems about the tarot deck. I need to get
Michelle, did you draw? Did you just write down some words? What was lightning, chaos?
A heart, a sun, chaos moon. I really have to. I wanted to pay attention to the story, so like I wouldn't have. I just, yeah. I can't multifunction sometimes. Like I would not be able to. If I wrote a poem, I would be not paying attention to your story at all. I would have been in my own thoughts.
You might want to try automatic writing. Just put your pen tip down and listen to the story and see.
That's what I do.
If you wrote a sentence or two out just unconsciously as things were going on.
I will attempt it. I've been one of the things that I've been battling in this process of my journey is I'm really fighting against journaling because I don't like it.
And yet you show up week after week after week, which is a testament to your wanting.
Yes, absolutely. I know that Jane told me last April she wanted me to start journaling. So it's going to be a year where I probably would. And then she's told me many times. People have told me in reads that my guides are basically hitting me on the head saying, "Here's a pen, start doing it," kind of thing. And I've been fighting it. I'm starting to get there. So I just have to change my perspective on it instead of looking at it as a mundane thing. Like I think I just need to start logging, journaling my daily things. So a memory, I don't know. Cause like when we talked about Mr. Mims and I wrote down our experience and a memory of him. So if it's starting with just writing down memories, it's a start like that.
And Hershey, did you journal or draw or?
So I drew a picture of so there's this little spot all the way back here in the back, and it's called the Hole. And I spent 13 months in the Hole. So these are the 5 towers that I saw while I was in the Hole for 13 months. There was five towers surrounding one major tower that overlooked the Hole. The double wire bob fence and the greener grass on the other side that I couldn't get to. So my tower moment is myself putting myself in the Hole in prison where I was in jail, inside a hole with no windows, no walls, and all I could see is the top of towers. And this is what I go to when I think about a negative tower moment. I go to this place that I put myself in. So this is a very kiddie version of it, but
that's beautiful though too.
Yeah, well, to put down a painful yet transformative event in your life, I'm sure you had anger towards others for putting you in that place, but then maybe the realization that you got there by yourself. But then also the climb out and to not do those things that got you in that position in the first place.
Yeah.
Eventually led you to those greener pastures outside the fence.
Took me almost 10 years to get there, but I got there. I found that greener grass, so to speak.
Grass is always greener.
Don't ask me no more.
The grass may be greener, but it's just as hard to mow.
Yeah, it wasn't no damn greener when I got out there. It was just an optical illusion that I gave myself.
That's what I'm saying. It's just as hard to mow on the other side.
But in that tower moment, you've found that hope that you would have a more vibrant life than you were having at the time.
I mean, yeah, you can say it like that, but all I can tell you is I went in hating the world and I blamed everybody, no matter who you were. And when I walked out, the only person I could blame was my damn self. Literally, I had nobody else to blame but myself. I was too old to blame my parents for my bullshit. I was too old to keep playing the damn victim and holding on to what shoulda, woulda, coulda. I had to let it go, and I had to accept life for what it was, and it was just, and that's where I've been ever since.
I drew a card. You heard 2 of swords. So denial. You let go of the denial.
Oh,
that's funny.
It was not easy, but yes.
And it's okay in those moments to recognize when, for example, like your parents are upbringing, you can recognize this affected me, but now being an adult, it's your choice to go forward.
Myself in prison.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but they didn't put a gun to my head. They didn't twist my arm. I wasn't forced to do the shit that I did that put me there. I put myself there. Whether I was told on, snitched on, set up, all of that, it's irrelevant. I was doing the shit that got me there.
100%.
Yep.
But then, through circumstances of your life, you were emancipated probably way too young for your
I was
maturity.
emancipated and expurgated at 14. Yep. Mm-hmm. But
So
like I did this shit to myself. If I was a child doing it, it was one thing. But at the age of 14, I'm emancipated and expurgated. That's letting you know that I'm already thinking like a 30-something-year-old grown-ass woman, and I've been in too many places I should have never been in. So for me to have to think like that and not know how to think like a child, think like a teenager, because I got to be quick with it, and I got to be on my feet, and I got to be a go-getter, and I got to be a hustler, because I can't be looked at as a child, even though I was nothing more than a child. I'm 40, what I am now, going, damn, I want to be a kid again, man. I want to go on a trampoline. I want to go and jump on a damn bed, and I want to go do all of this crazy shit that kids want to do, because I wasn't able to do that when my time was allowed to do it, because I chose to do other shit.
Okay,
And
so when
that's
you get
worse for
when
me.
you come to Florida, we're gonna go to the Jump Sky Zone, whatever it is, the trampoline
Man, I'm
course,
telling you, I'm like a big ass kid. I want to do
and
all
you're
this.
gonna after 5 or 10 minutes, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm done. Okay, so we're fine. We're gonna go. We can play
I don't care. As
basketball.
long
We
as
can
I don't
jump
have
in
to
the
grow up.
fog.
is,
We'll
is,
jump.
is
We'll
that
jump
what
on the
that
stone.
is after
stone
you've
thing.
experienced the tower moment of actually skydiving or jumping on the bouncy house? That's like,
Absolutely. Right. Yeah.
I'm too old for this shit.
You're gonna be like, my legs hurt now.
I don't care. I'm gonna do it though. I'm gonna do it.
We will do it. Absolutely, 100%. I'm gonna push you in that foam pit.
I'm pulling you with me.
And
If
then
I go back, I'll be like, come on.
at birthday parties, we're gonna go on in that bouncy house.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm using hypothetical situations, but I would probably still do it. But all I'm saying is
Heck yeah, be a
all I
kid.
realize is that we get opportunities in life that we get to be childlike. As a child, somewhere in the middle of your life, you realize, 30s to 50s, you're like, what the fuck? Some of us, most of us, the ones I've met anyway. And then there's those that are going completely backwards, that are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, and they are doing shit, and it's amazing, and it's beautiful, and I'm going, I want to do that shit when I get there. I don't want to get there and do it. I want to do it right now. I'm going to start it right now. So, there's moments that you have to just go through it. You have to. But that's just what balance is about, man. The faster you get through that shit, and this is just me in my opinion, go through that bullshit, get it behind you, because there is something greater later, and you can't get to it if you still got that shit in your damn rearview mirrors. So I say go through it and get it over with. I don't care if it takes you 1 day or 100 days. Do it, because what's on the other side is better than you can ever imagine.
So take the grandchildren to Chuck E. Cheese's so kids can be a kid.
I've said it, Miss Moonlight, in so many different ways. I have wrote my book. I've actually wrote, like, I've started it, I've thrown it away, I've started it, I've thrown it away. I've gotten to chapter 56 and threw the damn thing away.
Oh my God.
I've definitely thought about it.
But,
Jeff, smack her.
but the
I
process,
know,
like all that
Virtually
but the
exactly.
process of
Oh
writing
my
those
God.
stories.
It wasn't right,
process
y'all. It
of
wasn't right.
writing
As a
those
writer,
stories.
Jeff, if it's not right, it's not right, right?
But you don't
Right.
throw it
Well,
away.
yeah,
You
I
get
guess so. That's true too, though.
But don't you get an editor? Don't you get an
I was
editor?
my own editor.
Well, then you get someone qualified to help you get it right.
Well,
I'm just saying,
and
it's a
like
lot
I
of work.
said, I will talk to Madame Marota about that, because she's
Beautiful.
more inspiring than anybody. No, I'm just talking shit. But I have talked to Maruta about it a little bit here and there. But yeah, it's definitely, there's things that Maruta knows that could make it easier for me, because I don't have a lot of hand control, and I get into
Absolutely.
it to get going, and then I lose hand control.
Oh,
So I can't
I'm
write, or I
sorry,
can't text,
Yoshi.
or I can't type, and then it just sits for months and months and months and months, and then I'm out of it. I'm a Gemini. If I can't keep it going and get through it, then I'm done with it. It's taken too long. I'm on to the next one. So
You should see her when she's writing out the scavenger hunt lists and her hands cramping, or she's been doodling all day, and we're like yelling at her to give her hand a break. She's a determined woman, though. She powers through.
I do. I keep myself very busy.
Well, Michelle, thank
I
you
like
for
that.
being.
Miss Moonlight. She said, "I'd rather have the tower realization than none at all." Boy, I like that shit. Absolutely, absolutely. Most
So we're
That's
gonna
definitely.
wind
great
it
to
up
say,
here
too.
or land the plane. Michelle, thank you for being the consummate student and showing us,
Thank you for being
allowing
my
us to
hierophant.
experience learning as you learn along the way. And
I see
Jeff,
you
that
guys as
was,
hierophants, by the way. I hope you don't get mad.
and Jeff, thank you for being here and
As always, I love it. It's fun.
sharing your epiphanies as they happen, and your beautiful poetry. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that much could have come
That's
out
going in
during a
book
story
3.
time.
The world needs more of your beautiful words.
That's what I'm saying. He's working on book 3, and he just put his first one in there. Book 3, The Tower.
It'll be a whole like
Write a
100
poem,
pages. of
78
power.
cards.
Jeff,
I
I
love
wonder.
it.
I kind of wonder who you were in a past life.
I do too. I was
Oh,
told I was
It
reptilian, or I
was
was
Terry calls Jeff and I forget what it is, but it's somebody that had like something to do with speech. Like we did something with
language or something.
was it a bard or
Yeah, like
a translator robot like C3PO.
I'll have to ask Terry. Terry from Holding Her Space, like within a couple of days of knowing me and Jeff, she was like, "You're both like, I bet you were this in a previous life because of the way you guys talk with your metaphors and your similes and stuff." And I'm like, we had to have been, because I looked it up and I was like, I'll be damned. It's like a poet or a national scholar of some kind that would have only worked with the royals or the rich people or something. We would have translated for them because of the way we could twist and turn our words and make them metaphorically.
And we were more appreciated. Yeah, we were more appreciated and paid better for our skill then. Is what I got.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
And it was Nancy Jean's Garden that said, someone's tried in previous lives to hide my gifts or suppress my gifts, but my survival depended upon it, meaning living in different places, being run out of different places. Like a lot of war energy followed me, but that's what I ended up doing was kind of like what do they call it when you're out in the street and you're playing a guitar and you're
I was going to say a mimic, but I don't think you're talking about a mimic, a mime or something.
Yeah.
So you would stand on the steps underneath the statue and give orations like Plato, Aristotle, just go out in the market and
it would just be random.
Expound.
It would be like, and that's like why this is why like this life is harder for me.
I don't know that that's a great paying job either.
Then
but if you got a big enough hat and they got enough gold pieces,
then. If people bought my book, it would help, but I'm not saying that because we're in a different world and a different life now, so you can't compare the two.
Not even a little bit, damn it. Oh man, it'd be better if we could though. It'd be a better place. All right. We landed the plane. Okay,
Okay. So, just a preview of next week. The star card.
Hope.
Okay.
I won't get busy
You
now, Jeff.
Bear Chatters for being with us. You could have been anywhere on a Super Bowl Sunday, but in front of a TV watching and waiting and anticipating for two
For Usher, hey. Oh,
that
sorry. I
you
thought
care
By the way,
less about, because I have no interest in football at all.
it's the
No, I just want
strangest
Usher.
feeling.
Hey.
I'm so used to already being at Super Bowl parties because California Super Bowl started like at 3 or 3:30. Shoot, football started at 10 a.m., so when it starts here at noon or it's at 5:30 p.m., I feel like, oh my God, like what is going on? Like,
So late.
like what? I'm in a different world. It's so
Guarantee you,
weird.
Kansas
I don't
City's
like it.
turned red right now. The whole city's red. Kansas City, red.
Why do you think I'm
Red
used to
Kingdom
bringing
in
it
full
today?
effect.
Anyways,
Do you guys tell people, everyone, how to find their card of the year?
What's that about?
Maruta. Jeff wants to know, what is that about?
Well, I think it's like the card of the day type thing. I know Tarot Stash pulled a word of the year to concentrate on.
Ms. Moonlight said hers was strength.
So it's just any rando card you pull?
Well, strength might be because this is 2024 and you add them up and you get the 8.
8.
It could be random card. It could be something meaning to you. It could be something that you think you're lacking and need to have more of. It's
Definitely
personal
Does it
how
depend on your birthday and your birth year? And the
you can
year
do it that
you're in?
way and get your personal number.
Okay.
Well, if that's the case, I'm a
But
10
then you gotta add to the year that it
That we're
currently is to find
Okay.
out what kind of year
All
you're
right.
in.
Interesting. Well,
I'm in a
definitely send the
2-year.
information.
are you
please,
saying
thank you.
take your life path number, like her, she's a 10-1, and you add 8 to it, so she would be a 9?
I already
Yeah.
know the answer. I'm a 2, but I don't know what my card would be.
Do you just add 8 to it? Then you'd be a
You're a high priestess in that sense, or
Okay.
any two that resonates with you, whether it be the 2 of Swords with decisions, or 2 of Cups with relationships, or
If I'm a 3 and I add 8,
2
I'm
of
11.
Clubs making plans, 2 of Wands making plans, 2 of Pentacles balance. It could be.
Oh,
Well, Ms. Moonlight says she'll send it. So when we get it, we will definitely see if we can figure
Okay.
it out. But yeah, I know my tarot card, because of the way my numbers fall, I'm a 10-1. So, I don't know, it'd be exciting to see. I know what my theme for the year is, and that's the same one it is every year. Life is just. Every year, life is just. It's all about balance for me. So, I don't know. I never
We can
did all
start,
this now. I'm curious.
We can start a new store called PTCY. It won't be as popular as TCBY, because not everybody likes tarot cards, but most people like yogurt.
Personal tarot card of the year. I like it. Alrighty, guys. Jeff, what do you got coming up?
I'll be on Heather's channel tonight at 8
Okay.
Eastern time for another poetry in the tarot and reading, like poetry reading, where we pull a card and then we spit poetry back at you. And it's basically, I call it psychoteropathy, because it's therapy for self-diagnosis for you who sees the first thing they see on the card, and then I try to spit, or I see what I see on the card and I spit back a poem, and you tell me if it resonates with you and that sort of thing.
Interesting.
But yeah, I'll be on at 8 tonight Eastern.
Cool. Sounds interesting. Brother Thomas, are you off the rest of the day?
I'm off most days and most times. I did have a earlier I had a private reading scheduled that somebody had to cancel out because of they forgot that they had family obligations to Super Bowls and stuff. So if you don't want to watch football and you want a personal reading, I'm available.
Yay. Alrighty, everybody. I will see everybody tomorrow for meta messages. And other than that, I'm going to put my feet up and wait for Usher. Y'all, I keep reading Super Bowl. Usher. It's Usher for me, but, for those else, Super Bowl.
Thanks, everyone, for being here. And remember, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and go out and make it a great day.
I didn't even know that I didn't even know that Usher was going to be performing.
Taylor Swift.
We gonna get it.
I'll watch it, but whatever. Who cares?